Hello everyone and welcome to our stream. So today we are going to break down this Seaside exterior render, and I will show you how to create it, not from scratch but with already made model. So I will show you how to create this render, how to create the geometry. So first of all, I would like to share that these ArchViz sessions is going to be a part of our Patreon channel, where here on YouTube I will share a stream of creating this scene, but the recording of this lesson and the 3D scene you will receive on my Patreon. So let's start. And first of all, I would like to say thank you guys, because it's been a lot of time since I've been on stream, and this stream is one of a kind, and because for me it's new experience, and I'm really excited to finally share my experience and knowledge with others here on YouTube. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this lesson, and definitely find and learn something new for you. So let's continue. Today we are working with this kind of minimalistic exterior. It's kind of something middle between interior and exterior, and because here we got our details as here interior of this building, of this I think it's some kind of villa with this seaside view, and exterior because we can see outside elements of this render. So the main advantages of this render is that I'm creating it from this reference right here. So it is real existed project, and I was inspired by it. So once I saw this image, I'm already understand which things I like the most about this image. So the first of all, my most favorite part of renders is some kind of aesthetic. This aesthetic feeling and vibe where you can not only see the image, but you can also feel the atmosphere. And here it's some kind of minimalist. It's simple, but with this, let's say, objects in the frame, it looks also some kind of premium and rich, so the image doesn't feel empty. And here we got our background, which I recreated with kind of similar background. So here we got some kind of mountains and ocean or sea horizon. But for me it was kind of, let's say, challenging to find the right background, so I stopped on this one. And by the way, let me know if there's any issues with the sound. Let me check. So I think everything should work. Okay, if you only join our session, please write in the chat where are you from and what is your experience in ArchViz. And if you got any questions regarding our lesson, also don't be shy, let me know in the chat and I will check this out. Okay, so here we got our reference, which we are going to recreate And here we got our ready-made render 3D scene. So where can we start? First of all, I would like to start with modeling, and I already created the empty scene where we can start creating our render. So here is the breakdown of our scene. Usually I'm applying objects to the different layers, and here you can see that different objects laying on the different layers. So here on the layer 0 we got our sun with direct sunlight. Then on architecture we got this kind of walls with the windows and water. Next, background. This is plain with the image in high quality. So from the distance it doesn't look with the pixels, and it's not blurry. So your background images almost always should be in high resolution, so your background looks and feels real. Alright, let's continue. Here we got our camera layer, here it is. Next, our ceiling with this architecture ceiling right here. The next layer is the floor. Next layer, furniture. Then it's empty, I think. Next, plants. Here I added 2 trees following our reference right here. We got a small one here, and also some kind of grass or bushes right here, but I simply use the tree model, which also works pretty fine. And next layer is pool. Here I got pool with this kind of mosaic and the water. So here's the layer of the water, and for its texture I use this texture called just water material with noise right here. Okay, so let me check. Hello, yeah, hello from Ukraine, and yes, it's gonna be recorded, so you can see it in recording and later. Alright. So first of all, let's start from creating our walls. Let's isolate our walls geometry, and here you can see how they created. I didn't have any plan or DVG file for it, so we can simply start from creating the geometry from lines. So yeah, let's select our walls right here, and here I got script. It's called copy to. So you can simply press right button on your object and press copy to. And we are going to create our new scene step by step, so you will understand the logic of this project. And let's paste our scene. It's called Okay, one moment, let me check. One second. So this script should be installed. One moment, it's not a big deal. Okay, and now we can paste from our previous scene. Great. So, let's see. Here's our new scene, and let me see. Okay, we got 8 people watching. Thanks everyone for joining. Alright, so let's continue our walls. Here is the principle on how I create these walls. So we can go to the Create tab and select Splines, select it, and simply just recreate our walls based on this model. Actually, if you don't have the pattern access, you can simply follow this structure. I think you can recreate it without any problems, because there's nothing like complex. So yeah, let's create our walls. Right here I'm using snaps 2.5 and shift for creating the dots. By pressing our button backspace, we can undo creating of this dot, but for now it's okay. So let's continue like this way and this way. We should always close our splines. Click OK. And now on the checkbox Start New Shape, simply uncheck this box, and it allows us to create the continue of our line. So let's repeat this part of the wall. Click OK. And now let's see. Here we got our walls created with spline. So now we should go to the Modify tab. Also, we can press button 1 to select all the dots. Go to weld parameter and click weld to weld our dots, so there wouldn't be any like space, and we can then use extrude modifier to make our wall with thickness. Here I think 3 meters would be enough. Let's create convert to editable poly, and now by pressing button 4 we can select our polygons to select our top polygon, and also this one. And now by pressing S button we can, using snaps, snap it to our original walls. Okay, here we got our original model. Okay, now what we should do, we should create our architecture layer, and let's apply our new object to the architecture layer like this. Now let's close it. Okay, everything works pretty fine. Let's save our scene. I've got kind of PTSD on the creating the scene for every like 10-15 minutes, because you know 3ds Max, it can happen sometimes that it will crash. So yeah, it's better to remember this shortcut. So yeah, don't forget to save your scene. And after we created our walls, let's create the geometry of our ceiling and our floor. Let's create it. So let's isolate it like this. Let's click copy and paste into our new scene. Click OK, use scene material. All right. Now let's create this ceiling, isolate it, go to create tab, line, and let's create it again, like this. Here we got our ceiling spline. Now let's move it higher. And here, if you need to understand the size of your model, you can go to the Utilities tab and press Measure to understand the length and thickness of your model. So here I can see that the height of our ceiling is 1.4 meters. So it's 1400 millimeters. And right now let's add the extrude modifier and paste here 1400 millimeters. Okay, I think now it works pretty fine. And now let's let's move our new one to match the original one. So let's do it like this. Can you do a lesson on material logic? Okay, I understand your question. So, okay, so mostly in my work, I'm using legacy materials. Some 3D artists using physical materials, it's also pretty fine. I'm using legacy because for me it's more convenient and faster way to to create the materials and set up textures. So it's just a kind of habit for me because there's maybe someone say that there's a big difference between quality from physical material to legacy, but I didn't really notice it. So legacy material is just simpler and faster to create. So yeah, for me, I'm using legacy and I'm more than happy with it. So yeah, I don't see any reasons to move into physical materials, but it also will work. So yeah, it depends on your own work, let's say work logic. So yeah, okay, now let's continue with our floor. Yeah, here we got it. Let's isolate it. By the way, I'm isolating objects by pressing hotkeys Alt plus Q, and this way it's easier to work with objects that you need to edit on your work. So yeah, this way we can again repeat our form of the floor with line right here. This way, and let's snap it to the angle of the wall, to the corner, right? Guys, if you got any questions, I'm really glad to answer them. So yeah, you can ask me, and I'm kind of interested in communication. So yeah, if you got any questions, we will have in the end of the lesson maybe 10 to 20 minutes on answering those questions if you got a lot of them. But yeah, Don't be scared, simply ask and I'm happy to answer them. Alright, so here we got our ceiling, our floor. And let's create extrude model. Minus, let's see how much height is here. Now I see. We need to detach our floor, because when it's attached to these parts of the let's say wall, it's showing us wrong measurements. Alright, so here we got our floor and its height 500 millimeters. Okay, let's indicate in our new floor minus 500 millimeters. Why minus? Because when we add positive 500, it will be higher, but we don't need our floor higher. We need it to move lower. All right, after that, I will show you the measurements and you can build your own model by these measurements. So, and here's also measurements for the ceiling and for walls. So in case if you don't have the 3D model, you can model it by yourself with those dimensions. And this plan right here. Let's paint it into another color so we would see it better. Alright, for now I think it's enough. Actually, we can select our objects from the older scene and let's name it old. Old. Add selection to current layer and hide it. Alright. For now, we almost got our geometry modeled. Of the building, geometry of the building. So let's save it and move to our scene. Here we got our pool. You may wonder why it is going inside this floor, because when I was creating this entire image, I wanted to match it with the original photo and I need to manipulate to match the image. So yeah, don't be scared. Okay, so all right, and here's also important part for this lesson. Let's hide our ceiling. So in the pattern you will find the scene, but without those models, because they are copyrighted, and since I bought them, I didn't have the option to share. So you can simply use kind of similar models. I think you can find or buy it by yourself. So from my part, also with the scene, you will receive the textures, and also in the Patreon basic tier, I've got senior 3D models, 3D materials for these scenes. So here's how it works. Let me show you. Let's open our material editor, and here we got ready-made material. So I've got senior material pack with more than 400 materials of the cloth, of the curtains, and here is the different categories. Floor, wood, plaster, tile, marble, metal, glass, fabric. So those material packs is more than enough to cover 80% of your work. So yeah, I'm using my ready-made library, and also by subscribing to the basic tier, you will receive those materials included. So yeah, I think it will speed up your work very, very impressive, let's say. Okay, now let's create our tiles for the floor. Let's isolate it and copy. Let's paste it. Okay. Here we got our tiles. So we can simply take the measurements from these tiles, but we already have this floor. So let's move to our model and floor. Let's edit a little bit our line for the floor. All right. Now let's create our floor tiles. So go to splines, line, and create our line this way, this way. Now this, simply repeating the walls shape. One moment. Let's finish it. Okay. Let's now select our floor line right here and here in selection, geometry, click attach and attach this part right here. So when we creating our line shape this way, we can also use floor generator for our floor. And this way we can create tiles. So let's rotate it a little bit and set up our model. We can simply copy the parameters from this one. Everything is pretty standard. Yeah, okay, so now let's rotate it a little bit. Here in general, we can use direction parameter to rotate our floor. And if you want to align this tile line to this side right here, I think this way will work pretty good. And if you want to align your tiles, we should manipulate this offset Y option. Okay, I think like this. Okay. Now, which video or series on your channel should I start? So there's a couple of videos you can check. Actually, on materials, I'm not was able to share like mm, deep dive lessons, but you can see from different kind of guides on my channel from creating the renders from scratch, and maybe there you will find more like technical advices and guides on how to set up the materials. So I was thinking about creating the lesson on materials. So thanks for reminding me, and I will create it. All right, let's move next. So here, what we got now? There's our pool object left, like this. Let's copy it. Now let's paste. Here we got it. Okay. Let's hide our model to the old layer. Alright, so let's recreate our pool model again. This way. Okay. Now let's move it to our floor. Isolate it and let's match it. Let's set up a little bit more precise our dots. And now I think it looks pretty good. So here in the line shape, press button 3 to select the whole shape, Control plus A to select all of the lines on our shape, and here we can go to the outline, and now let's create our thickness for the pool. So I think this amount would be enough, but here we don't have any visible like thickness of this part right here, so we can slightly move it as close to the corner as we can, this way. All right. Now let's press extrude button. And here we got the pool from our image. Let's see the measurements of z-axis. No, one moment. 1 meter to 100 millimeters. Let's say 300, like this. Okay, let's save it. By the way, if you see that your model is some kind of tweaking, like this, you see when I'm rotating, it's kind of glitching, but it's just the natural way of the 3ds Max on showing the materials. But for example, when you've got complex project and this kind of things happens, simply go to the orthographic view, and this way your model will look just fine. So yeah, okay, now let's continue. Okay, thanks for watching. You can simply see the recording of this lesson. So yeah. Kazakhstan. Yeah, we love Kazakhstan. So thanks for watching. See you next time. By the way, guys, I'm planning on making those kind of streams, let's say twice a month, but my goal is to make it like 1 time per week. So for me, it's really interesting to share with you, and yeah, I'm really, interested in sharing my way of creating renders. So I think let me know in the comments or in the chat, what do you think about it? Because when we this way communicating, exchanging the experience, I think it's pretty good and pretty cool idea. Okay, let's go to the shapes and create the bottom part for our pool. But wait a second, I've got an idea. What if we simply copy our part right here, move it closer to the end. Now delete extrude and delete the inside part of our pool and press extrude. Yeah, this way it also works out. Let's say -100. And here's how we got our bottom part for our pool. Click save. Ooh. By the way, today in Kiev was pretty rough night, and yeah, so we are alive, and that's great to be alive. So here, let's add our pool to the old layer. Next, let's create our some kind of ground. So let's copy it. And let's paste. Again. So I think you are now understanding the principle. So I'm modeling the objects one by one, and yeah, it's very important to model each part step by step. So usually I'm starting with the walls, then it's ceiling and floor, then it's details, and then ground. So here we got some kind of wall right here. Okay, I think on our model we don't need it, but let's recreate our ground right here. So here's how to create this ground, I'm going to the objects, geometry, and create our plane. By using AutoGrid mode, I can create it right on this shape, following its angle. Right here. You see, it's laying right on the surface. So in this case, I want to get rid of the segments. And now let's move to the right mouse button menu and let's convert it to the editable spline or editable poly. Okay, this way. Now we should move to the local point by selecting our edge, click local, and we can move it this way and also this way. Now this way. After modeling this ground, I will share with you the measurements so you can recreate it by yourself. Now here's the cool option. By holding button shift, you can drag your new part of the ground this way. You see, here we got our grid. Let's make it like this. Let's move it higher. Now this way, now lower. And this way. So from the other YouTube channels on creating the geometry, I saw a lot of lessons also, and they are creating each stage from the different drawings from the plans, and I think you know, I'm thinking in terms of the shapes, so I'm creating the whole structure. And in our case, when we got some kind of conceptual project, I don't see a big reason on creating the floor plan and recreating the geometry of the building from the plans. It's more faster and more convenient way to create it simply from like ready-made geometry details. So yeah, this is how I work, and it's just faster and more easier for me. Now after we create our parts of the ground, we can move it this way. Let's adjust it to the size of our pool. Move to local part. And now let's adjust it to the sides of the pool right here. Okay, there's 3 people watching. thank you guys. So I personally didn't wait for a lot of people to join, so it's more like a recorded kind of lesson. So yeah, let's see how it works. Mm-hmm. Let's see. All right. Mm-hmm. What if we try to create it from... Mm-hmm. All right, let's just try the other way. So let's click quick save. Mm-hmm. Let's try from the start. I didn't really like the geometry on how it was created, so let's try it from the scratch. It's not a problem. So I will start from this part right here. Let's convert it to editable poly. Okay, now let's copy it this way, adjust it. Mm-hmm. I don't want the geometry of this polygon to be broken, so I'm trying to model it as more, let's say, smooth as possible. So here we got this way, then this way, then this way. Something like this. And now let's select our hollow spline. And here's a little life hack. If you want to select all these lines from this shape, you can simply select one shape right here and double click to select it faster and move it this way. Mm-hmm. Let's move it lower. And like this. Mm-hmm. Okay, so here we got our ground. I think for now it will be enough. Let's see later how it turns out. Now let's move our objects from the older scene to the old layer, and let's see what we got next. And next we got our interesting part, which are the furniture and planting. So I'm gonna paste them one by one. by selecting all of them. Actually, this scene we were creating on the Play School course, and there I was sharing on creating this cool kind of textile, and I was creating it by the cloth modifier, and it's pretty cool process when you have to animate the piece of the textile. So we are creating the plane, adding the cloth shape, and then it's kind of drops on this chair and creating those form of this towel, I think. So yeah, it was pretty cool. So now we can simply hide all of our layers and left only furniture and plants. Now let's select it and click copy to. Also, we have to copy our windows right here. Great. Copy. Copy to. So these are the models that you have to add by yourself. And now let's paste it into our older scene. I mean, newer scene. All right, let's move them simply this way. Matching our geometry. Let's see. We should move them a little bit higher because our furniture crossing the floor, and in the floor we are always left this kind of gap as in reality. So yeah, seems like we lost our windows. Let's press save. Okay. Looks like our windows were not copied. Let's copy it again. So I was just using simple window models. And it was not like an ordinary window model, it was a glass door model, but I also modified it to our scene this way. Let's see wireframe. Okay. Let's adjust it a little bit. it should not be crossed with the floor, so make sure there's no intersection between them, like this. Alright, let's see what's left. As I remember this kind of, I don't know what is it, let's say architectural elements. You see, it's just kind of rectangles or L-shaped forms. You can simply create it by yourself. Let's copy this one and let's copy our water. And let's paste it. So there's 1 hour since we start our lesson, and I think we did a pretty good job in 1 hour. So let's continue finishing our render. Sorry. Yep. I've got yeah, now it works. Yeah, let's continue. So let's paste our objects. Click after a name, and here's use scene material. And also in the new scene, let's select Corona. Seems like I forgot. Okay. Now we can simply move our L-shaped parts right here. Okay, in the case if we need to adjust something, I think we can do it on our camera. Let's save again. Let's see what's left. Okay, and the water from our pool. We can simply create the line from our pool right here. Go to create shape, line. Let's uncheck auto grid, we don't need it. Okay. Create our lines. And there's 2 ways we can create it using line or plane. So if you are going to create it by line, we should go to convert to and click convert poly. This is how we got our geometry of the pool, but here I remember that here water is covering the pool edge from this side, so we need to adjust our lines. Let's select it. and edit it. Let's move it with the lines. Okay guys, let me know in the chat if it's boring or not, because I need to understand on how the thing's going. I need your feedback. Let's move it a little bit lower. All right, now what we should do. Here we got our geometry. I think it's already almost everything is modeled. So after I've got my models in the scene, so for optimizing it, I'm usually starting to applying each kind of geometry to each kind of layer. So let's start. Let's close all of our layers. Let's start with layer 0. Go to our tiles, and now let's apply it to the ceiling layer. Okay, this one and this one is gonna be our pool layer right here, same as this one. This is gonna be our, let's name this layer ground. You can let me know in the chat what kind of experience do you have in ArchViz, and which area of ArchViz you want to improve and get to the next level. So would be happy to answer on your questions. Right, now here we got our architecture layer. Let's see. Okay, let's apply our ceiling to the ceiling layer. Let's hide it, but also our tile. Yeah, I made a mistake. Let's apply our tile to the architecture. Okay, same as our windows. Let's apply everything to architecture. Okay, let's close it. Ceiling, floor. Okay, this is gonna be floor. Okay. Now furniture. Okay. I made a mistake. Okay. Now plants. Pool. All right. And now here's how to create our camera. We needed to see our scene from the viewport. This is how it should look from our camera. So I will copy our camera to our new scene. But before creating our camera, I will show you how to create it from scratch. So go to the Create tab, Cameras, go to the top view, Corona camera, and when you need straight view, you see when we create in this camera view from the scratch, it's not straight, it's angled. So to align it, we need to press everywhere on right mouse button on those coordinates, and this is how our camera and its focal point align in the one axis. So this way we can move our camera Let's see, maybe something is off. Yeah, now there's everything on 0. Okay, let's move it to our view, and here press button C and button Shift plus F to enable our it's called save frames. Let's see which resolution of the frame we got. 1500 on 2000. Let's repeat this size of the frame right here. Go to the output size, custom, 1500 on 2000. Great. Now let's lock this how to say it, rotation? No. Okay, this is somehow the frame which we got. I think it's more this way, but let's paste our camera from the older scene and let's compare it to our original. Well, we were close, but at least now you know how to set up the camera. So let's see our camera 2. I think we can you can copy the options right here from the camera if you want to set up it by yourself, or by yourself, or the position of the camera right here. Let's see our camera like this, and our focal point like this. I mean point of view, or the target. Yeah. All right, after we got our frame set it up, let's compare it to the original. I think we need to move a little bit closer. This way, I think, and to the left. And let's move our chair a little bit to the forwards and rights, like this. Alright, I think for now our geometry set up. Dmitro, hello, glad to see you. Thanks for joining. And here we got our scene. Now let's continue with the lightning. So let's create our first material, which is going to be a gray material. Press button M to open slate material, Corona, and Corona Legacy. Okay. Now go to the render setup tab in the scene, apply material override, and simply drag and drop with instance. Now, when we are rendering our scene, every material in the scene is going to be this gray render. Let's save our scene. and start setting up the lighting. So usually I'm light my scenes with Corona sky. So we are going to maps, Corona sky. Right here. Here we actually got our Corona sky, set it up on gray. So there are no blue color from our skies, and usually this is what I'm using for our sky, not applying blue color in the shadows or in the highlights, so our scene stays neutral and natural. So go to Maps, General, and select color correction. Apply our sky to color correction. Next, go to the render setup, common, scene, single map, and this way. Click instance. So we set up our Corona sky material into single map, and let's see how it turns out. Let's save our scene. Run our render. Here's how it turns out. It's blue because we are not adjusting the saturation. So let's start from saturation. Now go to Corona sky. And here we can manipulate with turbidity. So I'm usually using this 1.7 amount. So the higher amount, the larger amount of the, let's say, generating lightning from the from the sky. Okay, so let's say the higher amount, the so the higher amount, the higher option of the amount of the skies. So when the light from sun comes to the objects on the ground, they are going through skies, and Corona generates something similar, and here it's called fog. So the more amount, the higher the brightness, because when there are no clouds, the image appears more clear, and where there are more clouds, the image appears brighter because of how lighting works. So let's make our intensity lower and compare it to our original image. So how do I set up the amount of the intensity of the Corona sky? I'm usually comparing it to the how shadow on the how dark is the shadows. So here they're really dark, and we need to make it something like that. We can make similar tests on our older image. Let's move to the viewport. And here in the LightMix, let's close our sun. See, it's pretty dark without sun. So let's repeat it with our original new image. I think let's try to stay on this amount of intensity. And now let's create our sun. Go to the lights, Corona, and Corona sun. Create it like this. maybe move it a little bit this way. Let's repeat the position of the sun from our old render. I think image like this would work. Maybe a little bit closer. Let's save it. Now let's see how it turns out. Usually, yeah, it's overcasting with the sun, but let's set up our sun. Here in intensity, I'm setting it to the 0.1. Size, I think 5 will be enough. So the more amount of the size, the more it's blurring the shadows. I will show you later how it works. And let's see what's the sun amount right here. It's size, okay, 0. I mean 1 and realistic. Okay, let's see how it works with 0, 1 option. Let's compare it with our original scene, 0, 0, 2. It's even lower. Like this. Okay. So let's do it as a milestone. Actually, the next part of the project is creating the materials for our scene. Alright, I like the result. Now let's add our background. Here's really easy and quick way to do it. So let's create on the top view our plane like this. Usually this viewport window I'm making as a perspective and this one as a camera view. And right here, let's rotate it on 90 degrees. Add more segments on vertical, even more. And let's make it with the larger surface. And now let's work with the bend modifier. Let's see how it's set it up. Okay. Minus 59. Okay. And now let's move to the materials. Corona, and let's create Corona light material. Here. Let's save. And now here I got my texture of this background. Let's apply it to the color. And let's apply this Corona light material to our view. Let's see. Actually, here's a life hack. If you want to see the yeah, so if you want to see the picture of your backgrounds earlier, we have to turn it to the dark color, but for now it looks pretty good. All right, now let's set up our background this way. Let's set up its scale a little bit, increase it this way. You see, I'm just pasting the background from the photo. We can adjust its height, and if you ask me where would I take those photos, actually I'm looking for them right in the Google or Google Lens. Simply what I was doing with this one, I was just taking a screenshot of this part right here, drop it into the Google Lens, and then the images with the similar background appeared, and this is how I found the similar image. All right, let's move it a little bit higher this way. Let's save it, and let's compare it if it works with our original one. Okay, it looks a little bit too high. Let's increase the amount. So here's a quick test. Let's see if it works right here. How to set up the horizon line. We should repeat our line right here. And let's say right here. Just continue it. And this way we can see where our horizon line should be by the proportion. Let me show you how it works on this photo. Let's see. So all you need to do is to pick one side and repeat the line to continue the line, and simply continue the next side. Okay, here it's not working. You may ask me why. Because this wall is not so. In our case, if we want to build a horizon line, the image should be frontal with the parallel. For example, let me show you quickly. So imagine this is our room, right? So here is the perspective of this room. Let's say here we got our bed, here some kind of TV, right? And we need to set up the background right here. Right here. For example, some kind of mountains or sea view. So here's how to do it. You can simply continue those lines this way, let's see, and this way. And the line in the middle is going to be our horizon. But here it doesn't work because of this line. They're not parallel. So yeah, because of the shape of the building. But I'm just setting my horizon on the eye, and I think it looks something like that. All right, let's save it. And now let's move to our texturing. So we are going to start our texturing from the different zones, which is going to be, guys, am I see it, or there's just one like on the stream? Maybe you can drop some likes to kind of motivates me, I would really appreciate it. So yeah, let's continue. Here's how I'm creating the textures for my renders. Let's see. I'm usually starting by breaking down the scene on the different surfaces. Here we got our first. This is going to be our first kind of surface. Let's say our ceiling is going to be a second. Our tiles is going to be third. So depending on the amount of this surface inside the frame, we are selecting the step by step on which object should we texture after each. So let me show you more precise. So I'm splitting this render into the zones, right? So we got here 4 different zones, and right now let's set up the material for our tile first, because it takes the most amount of space in the frame. Second, we are going to texture our ceiling, because on the it takes more space than pool. Then it's going to be pool, and the last object is going to be our walls. So this is like this is some kind of a plan for our texturing lesson. So yeah, let's save our scene. And now the most interesting part on setting up the materials. Let's create a new view, and here I've got ready-made materials, and I will show you how to work with them. So let's see. We need our tile material, and here we got our 60 and 60 marble, but it's this light brown color. Let's see if there's any similar ones. Hello from Slovakia. Yeah, glad to see you guys. Thanks for joining. And yeah, while our materials is rendering, we're almost finished our render. So here I can see how step by step we are almost recreating the reference and our original render. So yeah, okay, here I can see that in the tile I've got more like marble and terrazzo tiles. Let's see if we got maybe in the marble similar textures. Okay, here I can see some kind of travertine. Let's try this one. I see there's different sizes. let's try this. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah, I see that this tiles more in the marble textures and colors. Okay, let's try just use our plaster for this. I think in our original we make something similar. Mm-hmm. Terrazzo tile. Okay, which one? Okay, let's see. Tile, terrazzo. Mm-hmm. 0, 1. Okay, let's try. Let's try this one. And we actually, yeah, we mixed our original texture with the color. So let's apply our terrazzo to this tile right here. Yeah, let's replace it. All right. And now let's add our light brown color. Go to the maps, then general, mix. In color 1, I'm gonna paste our light brown color. Let's see, maybe 50 would be enough. Okay, so now let's move to our render setup. And here we can exclude our tiles from material override. Render overrides, select our tile and click plus right here to exclude it. Now let's see our viewport. Alright. Here I can see that there are some issues with the light. That's because of our background. And we need to also go to the object properties of our background. And here we need to set up receive shadows and cast shadows. Click OK. In this case, we will have our shadow of this only from our ceiling. All right. Let's compare it with the reference. I'm gonna adjust it a little bit. Okay, interesting. Let's turn off the performance and none on NVIDIA denoising. Okay, let's see what's the issues with our floor. Interesting. I think there are some issues with these maps. Let's see. Is it reflection glossiness? Yep, and bump. Kinda. What we got here. Right, let's see what's the issues here. Well, sometimes when I'm too focused, I can be too, too focused on one task. So, yeah, just I need to return. So, yeah, here we got the moment with our shadows, but it depends on the drawn gloss of the material. So once I turned it off, it appears to work pretty good. Sometimes in the scene it will not work correctly because there are different scenarios, and maybe for the interior scenarios these reflection maps works great, but maybe for exterior it's too bright and there will be not so much reflection, so I can simply turn it off. And here in the glossiness, I think amount 0.95 would be enough. And maybe we can also increase a little bit our reflection amount this way. Okay, after we set it up, our yeah, it's even lower. Here we don't have any reflection, as you can see. Let's try 75. I think 75, even lower, 65. Okay. Interesting. It's again appeared. All right, so let me save my scene. Let's see if there's any issues. If we are going to simply paint our materials into the gray. Okay. All right, let's return to this material later. Maybe it should be changed. Well, on this scene it works pretty fine, so maybe there are some issues with the 3ds Max. It happens, so there's nothing unusual. Let's see. So this is the same material we got here. Let's see. So I've got no object to create shadows from it. So yeah, hello Panama, glad to see you. Okay. All right, so let's continue with the other materials and we will figure out this issue later. So I think it's not a big deal for now. Okay. All right, next zone will be our ceiling. So let's continue with setting it up. I'm moving to the plaster and let's try with the concrete. Let's apply our concrete to the ceiling and let's see how it turns out. And also, let's not forget to exclude it. Let's see. So here it's darker and it also reflects some kind of the I think reflection from the water on the pool. So here we can edit our material. I think we need to find something more rough or set this material the right way. All right, let's apply UVW map. Here I'm usually use 4000 on 4000 millimeters mapping. It will look like this. Let's move it a little bit lower. And now let's see. All right. I think it looks too rough. So what if we decrease our amount a little bit? Or mix it with the color. Let's move to the Corona maps, Corona and Corona color. Or maps general mix. Let's paste it into color 1, this into diffuse, and in color 2 we will take this color right here. I'm simply taking the pipe and selecting the color from the reference, maybe a little bit brighter, this way, and let's mix it with 50. It appeared darker, but we can set this material brighter into color 2. There's one method which I'm using. I'm just taking the original render and comparing it to the reference. So it's more in the red side. I mean, in the opposite way, even brighter. All right, let's click OK. And I think it can be adjusted even more, but for now, let's save it as it is. And for the background, let's also apply our background so we can see its texture and the lighting from it. Let's select our background and click plus right here. Right, let's see what we got here. Let's decrease intensity and let's see what if we are going to set 1. All right. Let's check the reflections. One moment. So we have to apply the overrides for our scene. So now, hello. So now we will see our background without this white part. Let's save our scene. And our texture is turned out to be pretty good, with no issue, but we can set up it even more. Let's select our scene, our material. Right, let's apply it to the reflection. Yeah, now it's much better. Now it's much better. And let's adjust the color. It's more saturated. Okay, I think for now it's pretty good. What if we a little bit decrease the size for our map? Let's make it 3 meters on 3 meters. Okay, I appreciate this size of the texture. Now let's apply the texture from the ceiling to our walls. and let's see how it works. And for our walls, let's also add the UV map modifier. Okay. Box type of the mapping. And now let's see. We should also let's turn off our material overrides. Right here. All right. But somehow our walls looks with the different material. Yeah. Maybe even more desaturated. Okay, like this, I think looks pretty good. All right, let's fix our windows. It's not looks the way it should. Let's select our higher view and make them lower this way. And same for this window right here. All right, let's see. We already got set it up materials for the chair, for the trees. Now let's set up the material for the ground. I think we can simply take the material from our older scene, and same with the mosaic and water, because time is almost up. So let's do it fast. Let's open our old material. Let's take the material from our mosaic, from our water, and from our ground. Let's hide our old model. Apply our water material. Here's how noise looks. Can we see it? Let's apply UV map to see it. Okay. Now let's apply UV map for our pool. Let's convert its geometry to the editable poly. Now attach our nope. Yeah, and when we attached our pool geometry, let's apply the mosaic to it. Box. I think it's too big. Let's try 2000. Okay, And now let's see and compare it with the original. Okay, here it's 1000 on 1000. Let's simply duplicate it. Alright. And now the ground. UVW map. Planar. Let's make it also 4000 on 4000. Alright, now let's save our render. And let's see the result in the viewport. And here it is. So let me know, guys, how it turns out. Do you like it? Yeah, maybe we should play with the material of the walls. It looks maybe not the same as the original, but you understand the traction and how to set it up. So overall, I think the image looks pretty good. And here we also got our water with, you see, the map. It's changing, it's creating some kind of waves. So our mosaic doesn't appear as a flat texture, right? And it's imitating the like waves, small waves on the water. So here I also like the shadows on our tile, and yeah, here it is. And that's it. Maybe we should somehow edit it with the post-production. So usually I do it here on Photoshop, I mean on Corona Render, sometimes in Photoshop. But for now, I think it looks pretty good. So let's move to the tone mapping. Here we can a little bit increase our exposure. What about white balance? I think it's enough. Now aces, everything I left as the same. Now let's move to the filmic mapping. Open it, and here we can adjust a little bit highlights compression to get rid of the highlights. And in the rich shadows, I don't know, do we need it right here or not? Maybe on 500. And also here let's add some kind of LUT. So let's try a different LUT. For example, usually I'm using punch 1 or punch 2. I think punch 2 works the best for this render, but also the grunge. I think it looks more natural, the grunge one. And the grunge too. Sometimes, yeah, it doesn't look good. Let's try simply this grunge presets, adjust opacity a little bit, and here's the result. Also, we can adjust more precise our shadow. Let's stop our render, go to LightMix, click Generate, and here we can adjust our lights in the LightMix. Here we can make our, if we make our Corona sky overall environment light a little bit like more darker, we can reach to the same amounts of the darkness of the shadows right here. So by, you see, by manipulating the amount of the lights from the Corona sky, which is environment map 2, and the amount from the Corona sun, we can get to the original darkness of the shadow. But for now, I think it looks too dark, so we can move it to the brighter part. And for the sunlight, well, I think this one looks even better than the previous. So that's it. I think that we did a pretty good job. And let me know in the comments what do you think about it, and which render you would like to see next. So yeah, let me know in the chat, and we can have like 10 to 15 minutes on answering questions. So don't be shy, let me know. Let's see. Today I was looking into the podcast about the ArchViz, so about the industry itself and how AI impacts it. And so my thoughts on ArchViz, that it is going to change very, very fast. And if you are a beginner, it's going to be, let's say, much more time for you to get the job than it was, for example, 2 years, 3 years ago, because the AI, it's wiping out junior and middle 3D artists. So if you want to stay on the same industry, you need to adjust your knowledges into AI, and working on portfolio also with AI cases. So this way, your clients and your boss, let's say some kind of lead designer, will see that you can create the great results with AI. Because if you if you are not going into AI, there will be more challenges for you as a junior and middle 3D artist. So my advice is to focus on 3D, but also don't forget about AI, because it's very, very important to get this skill and to be able to create renders not only with 3D but with AI. So maybe you would be interested in those kind of tutorials and guides on how to create renders with AI. So yeah, just let me know, and let's wait 2 more minutes. And if we didn't have any questions, okay, I see none. So thank you guys for the lesson, and I was really enjoying it. On this lesson we got a couple of challenges, but we figured it out really successful. So yeah, thank you for watching, and see you on the next lesson.